from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's hopefully going to be developing some restful material here to carry you off into dreamland. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep, to keep you company, to take your mind off of stuff, to be your friend in the deep, dark nights, to help you out. Do you struggle with sleep? Or you sleep if you're new, like an area you're not, I don't know how to put it. Like you say, man, sleep, like you can't even put it into words. That's what it's like for me right now. Let's say, how'd you sleep last night? Could you never ask me that question again, please? And if you have a wonderful relationship with sleep, that's great. You could still hang here, and the show still might be enjoyable to you. But I'm here to help you out as a friend in the deep, dark night. This show is a little bit different, so if you're new, give it a few tries. It's a friendly voice in the deep, dark night, more so than a sleep aid. So, and I'll explain more in a little bit here. But yeah, I'm just supposed to be a silly, goofy friend hanging out with you for an hour or 2 hours or more, depending on how many episodes you want to listen to in a row. And ideally, at some point, you fall asleep. It's really, hopefully, that simple. And I'm glad you're here. If you're new, you're an occasional listener going through a tough time, you come back to this show when you need it, you're going through a tough spot, or you listen night after night after night. This show makes your life better on a consistent basis. If you're a consistent listener and you love the show, or you love what it does for your life, we really could use your support. And these are the ways you could support the show back for all the helpful consistency it brings you. Thanks. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. And I'm excited to tell you about my Helix mattress. You know, I took the Helix quiz after I moved at helixsleep.com/sleep. And I got matched with an amazing mattress that fits my sleep needs, my feel preferences. And every winter night, I'm cuddled up in there. I am so cozy. How about you and your mattress? Do you have that kind of same relationship where every night you say, "Hey, boo, I can't wait to see you," like a mattress that fits your needs? What do you want in a mattress? What's going to make you comfortable so that you could drift off into dreamland? That's what Helix has figured out, because you go to helixsleep.com/sleep. You take that Helix quiz. Helix matches you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. It brings such peace of mind. Helix mattresses are award-winning beds, not just my favorites, but they've been tested and reviewed by experts like Forbes and Wired. And that Helix mattress comes straight to your door. Free shipping in the U.S., and I know I'm sleeping good in my Helix. I just don't know about you and the mattress you have right now. Maybe it is time for an upgrade. And now is the perfect time, because, of course, Helix has a deal for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during the President's Day sale. Now through March 1st. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive offer, 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And raise your hand if you're a bit of a procrastinator like me. You put off setting up that dental cleaning appointment, or honestly, any kind of appointment, or even like searching for making an appointment, figuring out even how to do that. It's not easy, right? You want to put it off because there's a lot of barriers, it seems like, to making it easy. And here's the thing. I'm so happy that we work with ZocDoc now, because I have new insurance. And I know right now in my hands I have the ZocDoc app. Oh, by the way, ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. And we're talking about booking in-network appointments with over 150,000 providers across all 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 200-plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you. And it's so easy to use. I'm using it right now. I just put in my insurance information. I'm looking for a new dentist. So I could search through here. I can start reading the reviews. They're verified patient reviews, so I can get a sense, hey, am I comfortable with this person? Then I can get the appointment set up right in the app. No calling, no waiting on hold. So if ZocDoc makes my life that easy, think about what it could do for you. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/sleep to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message. All right, everybody, this is Scoots here, and this message is going out to people that listen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. But if you're new, you only listen occasionally, you're going through a tough time right now, or you're just not in a place where supporting the show is realistic, don't worry. We've got you supported. Taylor, that I'm going to talk about in a second, has you supported. But if this show is a nightly part of your routine, I got to be clear and honest with you. Sleep With Me keeps going because people who rely on it choose to support it when they can. And tonight, it comes down to either you supporting the show or someone that listens just like you choosing to support the show. Or there's a third option, which is no one signs up to support the show. And that's when it gets tough, and you could hear it in my voice over the past around a year or two. But when you sign up to support the show like Taylor did, I send you a video and I ask, why did you sign up to support the show? Why do you want us to keep going? Why do you listen every night? Why does it make your life better? Why is that important to you? Why is that valuable to you? So if you're the one, soon I'll be hearing your why, and that would be awesome. But Taylor's why, like it mentioned, they tried Sleep With Me on that recommendation, didn't like it. A few years later, they were struggling to find something, and it worked. And they signed up because they found the ads distracting. They wanted to see what it was like listening to ad-free episodes. The monthly cost is small compared to the benefit I get from the show. Because I found the show helpful, I do feel good about supporting the podcast so it can help other people. And a lot of other great info from Taylor, but I wonder what your why is. Is your why strong enough to get you to support the show right now if you listen 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week? Or are you wondering if there's someone out there like Taylor with a strong why that listens just like the show and is going to support it? If you got a strong why like Taylor, I'd love to hear it. I'm going to send you a video when you sign up and ask you about it. And that's at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
All right, hey everybody, during this holiday season, you should gift yourself the gift of sleep phones with Sleep With Me branded sleep phones. We got a few different ones. And you could get those at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. That's the only place you could get the Sleep With Me versions of sleep phones. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. and use the promo code SLEEPWITHME at checkout to get a discount. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleepphones and use Sleep With Me at checkout. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. They could be thoughts on your mind, thoughts about the past, present, the future, thoughts you're thinking about. So thoughts that are coming up, feelings, could be like stuff, emotions coming up related to those thoughts, or feelings that are just there, or that are making an appearance at bedtime. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You maybe work a different schedule. Maybe you don't know. Or maybe it's like, is that a confluence of things? When I have more than one thing going on that's impacting my sleep. So it's, and then I'm anticipating. So it's like, it might be more than one thing. It is for me right now, including a couple, that I'm like, wait a second, So it doesn't even make any sense. So whatever it is that's keeping you awake, whatever it is that's going on, I'd like to help you out if I can, because I've been there last night multiple times and this morning. And so I know what it's like. I know what it's like for me. I know what it's like during the day for me, and then anticipating, well, I could try this or this, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And if it's anything like that for you, or if it's just not great in some other way for you, I'd love to help you out if I can, because I know I know what it's like for me, right? And I know what it's like for a lot of other listeners. And the cool thing is, there's enough people listening that there's someone out there right now that totally gets where you're at. And they're like, man, I really hope this show can help you like it's helped me, because it changed my life. I didn't even know there was a strange podcast where someone just hung out with me so I could fall asleep. I didn't think that it doesn't, still doesn't make quite a lot of sense. So yeah, I really hope this show can help you, because it's meaningful to me. You deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need, so your life is a little bit more manageable and a little bit better tomorrow. You deserve like a bedtime where it doesn't have to, you don't have to dread it, right? You could look forward to it, or at least feel neutral about it and say, well, at least I got that sleep podcast, and he's kind of goofy, and I know I got a couple other things I'm trying out. That's for me. I got a book I'm reading. I'm going to say, well, at least I got my bedtime routine in my book that I'm enjoying, and I'll just try to do those things. So that's why I make the show, and it's really cool to know that there's other people out there across the world that are thinking of you, in a positive way. They're sending you well wishes and hoping this show helps you out. And they get to feel good about that. And they can also feel it coming back to them when they need it, when they're like having a really tough time. They know there's other people wishing them well. And that's the kind of community we have around the show. It's no pressure community. It's an opt-in. You just have to lay in your bed and think lightly and fondly of somebody else or multiple people out there in the world that are struggling with something you can relate to. So the way it works is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. I go off topic. I get mixed up. I forget what I was talking about. Then I use filler words, mispronounce things. And then I say, oh, wait a second, I was thinking of this other thing. And it's all to keep you company and take your mind off stuff versus putting you to sleep. But it does take a lot of getting used to when you first get here. Because if you found this show through a recommendation or a search, or you're just in the middle of the night trying to find anything that would work, you probably, if you're anything like me, you'd be skeptical, doubtful, frustrated. Like, what? I need something that's going to work for sure. And I said, well, I can't promise that. I can't even promise you'll like me. But I can tell you that all of that is okay. And maybe that's relieving. I say, you don't have to like the show, or you don't have to like me. You could just see how it goes. I can't tell you this show is 100% effective, or I can barely even say 100% effective. So how could I say it's 100% effective if I can't even say those words most of the time? But I could tell you I'm going to be here, and I'm going to try to hang out with you. And I could tell you that two things. One, it's been most regular listeners' experience. It took 2 or 3 tries with this show for it to kind of work and help them out. The first time they listened, they were skeptical, doubtful. I thought this was a sleep podcast. This guy's been making this thing for 12 years. I don't believe it. Then the second time they listened, I said, oh, okay. I still don't get it. And then the third time, or the fourth time, or the second time, sometimes the first time, they just fall asleep and they say, oh, he was serious when he says he's always never getting started, that the show's always going nowhere. So just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, or if you're certain right now, you're like, no, I don't even want to give you another minute of my time, that's fine. I have a website set up, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you, where you could find other sleepy stuff and other sleep podcasts on there that may help you out, like, or send you on a journey to something that's going to work for you. Because everything I set up until this point is still true. So, yeah, I'm hopeful, right? But if you're here, you might as well give it a few tries and see how it goes, unless you're 100% sure. You know, like, yeah. So I'm glad you're here. The other things to know is this is a podcast you kind of just barely listen to versus listening to it directly. You can listen to it, but it's also like a TV on in the other room, a show streaming under your pillow, a party like way down the street where it's not, you're just kind of hearing the bass thumping and not too many other things. You say, that's not too bad. At that distance, I'm aware people may be enjoying themselves, but it's not it's not bugging me. It could be like sand passing through your hands, or out of focus picture. Or it's been a while since we talked about, what are those things even called? The 3D images or whatever, that you stare at them. And the only way it works for a lot of people is when you see, all of a sudden it'll just work when you're not trying to make it work. Can't even remember what they're called. I feel like that was the first sign that there was artificial intelligence in the world. Just looking back, where you say, wait a second. Also, I wonder if they could do that. There's multiple, ones. You say, hey, can you do that? No. I mean, it could. I can say I can do it for sure. There's a lot of qualities I share, like overconfidence, belief that I'm factually correct when I'm not. This isn't meant to be a troll. Like, I'm not trying to troll AI. Believe me. No. I want to stay on your good side. I'm just pointing out ways where I'm similar. I share similar quality. You know what happens is you spot it, you got it. That's me and my relationship with AI. Not the AI who I wanted to start a podcast with. Not Allen Iverson. I'm talking about so I was just thinking of those 3D images, and then it made me think of how many times I've said to someone, no, I know that's as a fact. It costs this much, and they're 100% positive. Anybody that's friends with me knows when I say that, they say, oh, okay. And they usually pat me on the back or on the head, or they just nod knowingly. Oh, are you sure about that? Oh, I'm totally sure. 100%, man. And I mean, I know exactly, I know what I'm talking. I mean, I know I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about. In my head, it's true. Like, I think cornfields, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much an expert on them. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, in my head I am. Corn silk? Oh, boy. Yeah, I know all about that. Is it an industry or like, oh yeah, I know a lot about it. So you could trust me that's all cornrows are arranged southeast to northeast. I don't think that's even possible. Okay, well, I'm just telling you. I'm certain. I'm not telling you that I'm certain now. I'm just pointing out an example. That's what I'm These are the things. These are a few of my favorite things that qualify me for I can't even say that. That qualify me to make a sleep podcast. So yeah, you don't really need to listen to me. Just like my friends, I think they probably when they talk amongst themselves with amusement, they say he was certain can't help but love him when he's making factual statements about cornfields. They say, when was the last time you were in a cornfield? Well, I was in a corn maze. That's in a cornfield, actually. So it's a little bit more, I guess it's a little bit more than just being in a cornfield, now that you're asking me. Okay, so you were wandering around. No, I was demazing the maze. I was being amazing within the maze. Okay, let's get back to the Silly Podcast. So this is a show you could just barely listen to. And maybe you're like me or like other listeners, you've done it before with audiobooks or people. We said, hey, can you talk to me for a while? I'm just trying to calm down and go to sleep. Or you have fond memories of hearing family members watching shows that you could only make out the murmurings. Or you put on a show or another podcast, just to take your mind off stuff or sports or talk. You said, I don't know, it's just something about it. I'm not listening, but it makes me feel better than I did before. So there's that. This is also a sleep podcast. It's not here to put you to sleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. That's why the episodes are that's why the episodes are over an hour. So you don't have to worry about falling asleep. I'm going to be here because there's people listening who can't sleep at all or who need a break during the day or waking up in the middle of the night. I'm here to the very end of the show, whether you're awake or asleep. That's one of the first lessons I learned because of listeners like you. So, yeah, I'm here, but you don't need to worry about falling asleep. I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff, to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your Borcas, your Borbra, your Borman, your Borby, your Borber, your Nabor, your Boris Borloff, your chairman of the boards, your best bore friend forever. Just like you, if I was on call, but in a friendly, I guess friends are on call. Friends are always on call in a sense, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm here to do, is just hang out with you. But you don't have to hang out with me, but you can. That's the job of a bore friend. The other thing I like to run through for new people is, so just in case you're new, but this is also a part of the structure of the show, is why we structure the show the way we do. It's to benefit you and countless others of people, the maximum amount of people the show can help out. And so that's pretty cool. We structure the show because just podcast apps are pretty cool, right? They're flexible. You can set sleep timers. You can make playlists. And most podcasts are listener supported and through the sponsors and direct support, and paying for them is optional. So that benefits a lot more people than it being like the difference between that and the audiobook is like an audiobook you have to pay for, right? Whether you're paying it through a service or anything. Podcasts, we don't get money through any of those kind of channels. But then the people that aren't in a position to pay for it, they get to fall asleep too. They get to have a bore friend. And I kind of got off topic there. But so the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So if you feel seen and welcomed in, and you say, okay, I could check that show out. Then there's support, so the paying for the show's optional. And it really is optional unless you listen night after night after night, then we really do need your support. Or if you listen to more than one episode a night or you fall asleep fast, we really do need your support. But if you can't support the show or you don't listen all the time, don't worry about it. Or if you're new, you really don't have to worry about it. I mean, you could support the show if you just want an ad-free version. Some people do that when they're new to see what the experience is like. They try out the trial. But yeah, it's optional unless the show consistently makes your life better. And then it's just a matter of, can I support the show? Will I support the show? Then after the support, totally separate from the support, a show within a show is the intro of the podcast, which we're like 10 or 15, 20 minutes into already. And the introduction of the podcast follows a familiar structure every time, but every intro is new and different. So you get something that's like reassuring and familiar, but it changes, so it has variety, because whatever keeps me awake at night craves variety. The other purpose intro serves, the reason it's 10 to 15, 20 minutes long, other than my inefficiency, is that it's part of a wind down or a buffer or a lowering of the volume on the day, or you're getting some distance. It eases you into bedtime. I never found, or I just couldn't make a sleep podcast that it would be counter to sleep with me. It may work with, because we do have a different version of the show. Like there is some people that do fall asleep fast. But for me personally, I want to be eased into bedtime. I can't, if someone tells me I got to fall asleep, that's why there's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. Because that was something, my personal experience, it didn't work. Just say, hang out, and maybe you fall asleep. That's going to work better with this show. So that's what the intro is. It could be part of your, like a lot of people are listening as they're getting ready for bed, in bed, getting comfortable, or chilling out, winding down. And that's the main purpose of the intro. It's a time where we all hang out together, like a sleepover. But then at some point during sleepover, everybody instantly and magically goes their separate ways to wherever they're most comfortable. But we still get the cool part of the sleepover, which is the hanging out part. So that's the intro. And then after the intro will be support. Then there'll be our kind of looking at a Restful development, and then maybe looking at a little bit of another show we're comparing it to. And yeah, all told, I'll be here a little bit over an hour. I'm really glad you're here. And myself and a team of people work hard on the show. We really care about it. We really care about our listeners. Everybody that works on the show really cares about the listeners. And we talk about it, how much meaning this show gives us. Now, if this show is consistently meaningful in your life, we really could use your support. So think about either supporting one of these sponsors or supporting the show directly, testing out a free trial, following the podcast in your podcast apps, spreading the word about the show. You could change the future of the podcast. Thanks so much.
Museums are more than places we visit on a field trip. Across the country, museums protect our shared history, care for wildlife and collections, strengthen local economies, support job training, and spark curiosity in people of all ages. Right now, you can help make sure museums stay strong for future generations. Museum Advocacy Day is a national moment when people contact Congress to ask for continued support for museums and the federal agencies that fund them. Learn how to take action at aam-us.org and tell your representatives that museums matter to education, to communities, to the economy, and to our democracy.
Everybody, this is Scooch. We did a pilot episode of Restful development in a succession of Restful developments. And I guess this is a little meta conversation before I turn things over. But, you know, like I really take, I really am always trying to put myself in the listener's shoes. You know, between Posty, Rusty Biscuit, and I, these episodes get listened to a bunch of different times. Not just for things that need to be fixed, but things that can be improved or greatly improved or subtly improved. Because I don't joke around when I say we yearn and strive and work really hard. So this is like a plus, right? I was listening to the pilot episode months before it comes out, or before the first episode came out, or before this episode comes out too. And I was like, man, like I like that, but we've like I said, can this be more? So then I thought about Dreaming of Newhart, and then this idea kind of came to me, and I still don't know, like that's a great thing about Sleep With Me. It's never fully formed either. But I said, well, what if instead of just looking at how these two stories are similar, wouldn't it be the kind of thing where Michael Bluth, what if Michael Bluth was living Michael Bluth's life one segment at a time, and at night he was having these recurring dreams about someone like possibly Kendall Roy, or maybe like it's a dream, and each night he identifies with a different part of his dream world. Maybe it's Tom. Maybe he writes poetry about Tom, the one of the man, not the man of his dreams, but a man in his dreams. And then I also said, what do we have time to accomplish here? Because we are even like it's also like this time when anytime there's like uncertainty around Sleep With Me is when the most creative things seem to unfold. Like when I'm like, can I keep making this podcast? And all these ideas come where it's like we almost start generating more and more material. So it's like, do we have the space or a long-term thing? Is Logan Roy, or not Logan Roy, sorry, Kendall, oh boy, story of your life and your dream life. Because that was, I guess in a sense, it was a Freudian slip. I know you're fictional. I'd love to imagine that Tom was dreaming all of this succession, but I would think that Kendall, sorry, Kendall, there is a world within Get Bezos where might have existed. But could Kendall Roy be dreaming of restful development? I don't know, time-wise. We'll see. It's just such a, like, this is where, I mean, it's a plus. Sleep In Me, and actually, like, I remember having this conversation with a couple of really great podcasters that make amazing podcasts, which is funny because Roman and Helen, in this case, and he was talking about how, like, these nesting doll stories and complimenting on Helen on her ability to do that. And that really is like the same thing with Sleep With Me. It's like the meanders within the meanders within the meanders. The more material, if I sit down to record 50 minutes of an episode and I have 2 hours or 3 hours of material, the episodes are just going to be better. The 50 minutes that we do. So let's just see how this goes. So I'm returning this over to an imaginary world where there's someone, I guess a chill version of me who's going to help or be helping out. So, yeah, take it away. Hey, come on in, Michael. Yeah, have a seat. Michael B., right? Correct. Michael B. Michael, yeah, I'm glad you're here. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you. I know you've come in, you heard my work with Robert from Vermont. Or was it Bob? I don't know. It could have been anyone, right? And you were really interested in me kind of, because you're having vivid recurring dreams, correct? Yes, that's correct. Well, this is exciting then. So do you want to tell me like a little bit about your dreams or your week or wherever you're at. And I know, like I did I did this funny thing, like to help protect your like I pretended your first dream sheet you sent me was the first, because I know I covered it as a imaginary podcast, a TV recap podcast, because it was like watching a TV show. So I have a general idea what's happening in some of the general aspects of you have in your dream. There's Kendall, who you kind of identify with. Then there's Logan, Kendall's father, Shiv, Kendall's sister, Roman, Kendall's brother. Then there's another brother whose name will come to me, cousin Greg, Shiv's husband Tom, and there's many other characters that came up, but those are the ones that kind of stuck out to me, and that the similarities in your personal life, where you have a father who's also runs a company. In this dream, this Logan character runs a company. And in the first dream you sent in, that you were dreaming of, so do you want to tell me about a recent dream? Because I just wanted to let you know that I had gone through that. So do you want to go ahead, Michael, and tell me? Yes. Okay. So thank you. Thanks. Yes. So I did have a dream. Well, first of all, that one part of the dream has happened more than once, where it's my father's party. He's supposed to be leaving the company. I'm supposed to be taking over. I guess I realize that I'm not Kendall, but sometimes I identify a lot with Kendall. But then also Greg's there trying to get a job with the company. The press is bugging my dad. Shiv and Tom are there. Connor is the other brother in the dream. Yeah, and in the dream, Kendall's trying to close this deal, but it's not going well. So that's where I'm not sure. I could just stick to telling you the dream because, I don't need to interpret it. We're just here to talk about it, right? Correct. You can, but probably let's save that. Okay, so Kendall can't quite get the deal done. He just seems to be pushing too hard and not hard enough. And it is reminding, the Logan thing does remind me of it, because there's this factor, this Teflon thing where the rules just don't apply. And not even the rules of rules that people make, but with Logan and my dad in a sense. It's even physics doesn't apply almost, or it's beyond my understanding, right? In the dream is Logan, Kendall can't perform as Logan. But Logan kind of tells Kendall, you're not taking over, I'm going to stick around. Kendall gets really upset and acts, I did hear your thing. You said infantile, which I guess it was infantile, tearing the bathroom up. Also, Kendall's going through this thing where he still is kind of leaving a light on for his ex, and she's like, no, don't leave that light on for me, please. And Kendall is different than me, that I haven't struggled with some of the things that Kendall has struggled with. Also, I don't know if I talked about it in the thing, but then Greg's grandfather is Logan's brother, and they're not speaking. And because Greg wants something from Logan, Logan says, okay, I want your grandfather to apologize to me or ask me for a job for you. There's also this thing with my dad and the family trust, and not only has he, I said my dad. Well, I guess in the dream, he does. I don't know if that I'm Logan ever in the dream, though maybe there's a Logan within me. So I'm dreaming, And so he also not just kind of led me to believe that I was taking over the company, but he also led me to sign something with the family trust that my siblings didn't sign, and then he wants them to as his birthday present, which gives him continued control through Marcia, like, of the company. Okay, so, sorry, I lost track of what I was saying, but, so my dad wanted us to, like, everybody to sign off the trust so he would have more control over the business no matter what. And then, yeah, when a rug was pulled out from under me, no one had my back. It was in front of everybody. And then, then Logan had a lot of things to say, which is different than my reality, I guess. My father's different. He's less direct than Logan is. I trusted my father. When you'll be ready, I don't know. Those are things I wrote out, like, about it. But, so this most recent dream is that Frank, right, who's my dad's best friend and main consultant, he said my dad's true to his word. Call him a friend. He makes a speech about my dad's birthday. Or, keep saying that, but Logan's birthday. And then there's this thing that at first in a dream was mysterious, but as the dream unfolded, it became clear. They talked about playing the game. Everybody in the dream was like, are we going to play the game? And I said, this is in my, or when I said, there's no game about this. Even in the dream, I guess in this part of the dream, at least I was like a out there observer. I said, what game are they talking about? Or maybe I was, Greg didn't know. So Greg's laughing uncomfortably. Then Greg squeezed in a car with Logan and Marcia, like in between them. It's just this awkward image. And he's still trying to, he talk, like Greg talks in a very unique way. I mean, I guess similar. So Greg's probably, I don't know, in his 20s, maybe his early 20s. And he kind of talks in this, I don't know how to describe it. Like people you encounter someone like this in reality at a party, they're somewhat lyrical and playful with their words, but you also, they're not saying it in a lyrical, playful way, not in any other way either. But you say, what is this, what are you getting at? Or are you just playing with words? Then there was this idea of Tom giving Logan a gift and trying to find the perfect gift, and Tom's holding the box with the watch in it, or what I assume is a watch. Then also Logan and Roman are talking, like Roman at some point, and Roman's like, what's in it for me? Like, he's like, are you going to do the trust? He's Nick and Romulus. And he says, are you going to fill out the trust or not? And Roman says, well, what are you going to do for me? And I guess there was some sort of reference to a show that Roman had worked on, or a movie, Robot Olympics. And then he basically says, I don't like Frank, or I can't work with Frank. What if I take Frank's job? Then all of a sudden everybody's having, you know, those drinks that come in copper cups, I think they're called mules. Some people are drinking coffee. Some people are drinking mules. We're outside. It's cold, but it's bright. And then the same thing with Shiv and Logan. What are you going to do for me? Do I even need you, Logan? Don't you want the top job? I'm doing great in politics. Tom's there. He gives his gift to Logan, but Logan doesn't appreciate it clearly. And he says something and like a joke, and even Logan says, did you rehearse that? And he says, no, yes. And then the siblings have a meeting. Should we should we give in to Dad or not? Then Tom and Greg meet each other. Tom introduces himself to Greg, and Tom is this incredibly uncomfortable person, and most of his internal discomfort is on the outside, in a way that is like puppy-like, but also like what? And so he constantly is trying to make at least someone like Greg, who he perceives as an outsider like himself, or he doesn't have any sort of anchor. So he's constantly kind of putting Greg, and Greg doesn't know how to react to him. And, but you could see they're in each other's orbit a little bit. Then again, Kendall's like leaking stuff to the press about his dad. Roman, similar to Tom, but in a way that's much more coming from the top down, where Tom's kind of down and he's still going down below. But so Roman is different than Tom, but similar to Tom in like he doesn't like people to feel comfortable either. But I think it's a different thing. Like Tom may be unaware that he's uncomfortable. So he wants, Tom is not bothered by other people's comfort. He's bothered by his uncomfortableness first. Roman is bothered by other people's comfortableness first, and then his uncomfortableness second in the dream. And it seems to be the recurring theme. And what I mean by that is if Tom saw someone that was very happy-go-lucky, that wasn't Greg, he would have feelings about that, right? But he may, in most circumstances, keep those feelings to himself. Like they say, where's the hose pointing? Most of the time, I think Tom's hose is pointed at Tom. Unless there's someone Tom can spray with his hose after he sprays himself. So if he saw someone happy-go-lucky with natural, organic self-esteem and joy, he would turn to Tom first. This is just my belief in the dreams. And then he would turn to like someone like Greg who says, oh, okay, you're an outsider, but you're in more of a rocky place than I am. Roman on the first hand wouldn't have that processing. Roman would immediately or strategically make sure that person was no longer he would take the hose and say, if you're so full of esteem, here, I'm going to put some water on you. And if you couldn't do that or couldn't achieve that strategically, he may just spray somebody else as well. So what happens in the dream is there's a boy there and his family, his father seems to be working. And like he's a caretaker of the baseball field. So we're playing softball. Kendall leaves the game, so somebody has to come in for Kendall. And so he says, if you come in this game, like I'll give you a prize, but only if you're the best player out here, more or less. But he really makes a young boy think he's going to get like $1 million or something. Which I just didn't, like in the dream, I said, I hope there's no aspect of my personality I'm not aware of like that. And also Tom is the one that gets the boy out. Then again, Kendall gets this deal closed, but he thinks he has this, there's this Lawrence who's, Kendall's in charge of purchasing his company or merging with his company. But Kendall doesn't really have, very similar to what we just said. Lawrence seems to have, has some level of self-esteem incompetence. And Kendall happens to be, that really throws Kendall off because he doesn't have the tools to deal with that. He hasn't been given, I mean, the tools we're talking about aren't great tools with Tom or Roman anyway. But but Lawrence also has tools. Lawrence does have tools. So he says, geez, Kendall, you're not, and they're not all nice tools. But he says, basically at that point, Kendall says, I'm going to be yeah, we're going to be working together. I can't wait. And he goes, yeah, really. So then we go back to, Logan wants to be alone with his children. They go in they go up in a like they're in a bird almost, flying through the sky. And he's again trying to get his kids to give in to him. But Shiv and Roman are like, no, why would we give away power? Like we're in a power position. And then Logan takes a nap, but kind of like a Sleeping Beauty nap. But Kendall's already left to go work with, yeah, I guess this is a really confusing dream, but, so Kendall's not there anymore because he's trying to make these deals happen. So then Lawrence tells him, you know, your dad fell asleep like Sleeping Beauty. And, also at some point in the dream, Logan, before he tried to be alone, after Roman told him, he fired Frank, and Frank was like dismayed. He didn't have the tools to deal with that either, but that was because he said, I just gave a speech. I thought we were friends. It reminds me a bit of the brilliant performances by like in the movie The Social Network. And like, holy cow, like that's one of my favorite movies. Just the performances and saying, I thought we were friends, you know, a little bit different. And also there's a guy that works for Logan named Colin. He does all of Logan's things. So he tries to say, hey, we're going to give you this really expensive watch. It's in a box though. Since, you know, the just for your time. But then later we learned that Logan's old watch is in the box. Probably were still worth money, right? And I think he actually put Tom's watch on. Which is, never thought about that till this moment. But then, so Lawrence tells Kendall, hey, your dad's sleeping, and now I'll probably be running the company, not you, Kendall. Then we go to like where they're waiting for Marcy to come kiss Logan to wake him up, like Sleeping Beauty in a sense. And Frank's sleeping in a chair. So and to me, he said, wait a second, Frank just got fired, but he still cares enough to wait to see the sleeping king be kissed by the queen in this sense. And Shiv is there, and Roman's there, and all this almost takes place in New York or like near boroughs in New York. And yeah, that was kind of like the last set of dreams I had. Okay, great. That's amazing. I'm trying to decide if you should tell me about what your week was like, or I should go to like what now I have an assistant that's intelligently like full of artificial intelligence. And we looked up some stuff about your dreams. So that, like my assistant was working while we were discussing things. Like I do have some things, if we could run through those, and then maybe tell me about your week, or we could go from there. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I told you about my week last week in the message, so it hasn't got better. Okay, so that sounds like you're having a tough time. So, we have some nicknames. Logan, we were calling the Titan. Kendall, we were calling the Sleeping Prince, or the Sleepy Prince. No, the Sleepy Prince. And And I do feel like there are aspects of the Sleepy Prince that are like your as we say in the business here, your shadow self. Then we have the jester and the glass daughter, and then the chattering assistant. That's Tom. Then the glass tower. Which I guess I really like that book. So strange that this came up. But my assistant did say like the glass tower is like, because in your dreams, you didn't really allude to it too well here, but in your message did of like, the blues, you do okay, but this is like incredible level of wealth in your dreams and excess. And, really descriptive stuff. So the glass tower is like the headquarters where Kendall was, and then Logan came. And then there's this transit idea when they're traveling. Then there's this element of failure with the deal with, Kendall not being able to get it right. And then the sibling stuff, which I think we kind of covered in your first, how your last week went with your siblings. Kendall's siblings are a little bit more on the nose than your siblings, or they're more activated, where your siblings are more passive, but with the same kind of self-seeking behavior. Then we did think about the watch, right? And that, time itself is priceless. And the watch, for most of us, is a priceless number. But thinking about you and your father and the way your father treats your time and your family treats your time, that seems like an area of frustration for you. And then the withholding and the trickery with the trust and stuff like that, that does remind us a little bit of stuff. And then the almost getting there, right? Like Kendall almost achieves. The boy almost gets home before Tom does. I think that's a powerful thing. And that there's this, so moving on to like some of the stuff, maybe this is Jungian. I'm not really sure because I just narrate this stuff, This is my job. That's what you're actually paying me for. Oh, I'm not paying you. Oh, okay. So we're just, this is an experiment. Great. So Kendall, there's a fragility to Kendall that I don't necessarily detect in you, but I'm not positive if you're covering it up or you have the same fragility. Like that, just like in your last stream, that Kendall goes to infantile mode. And then Roman, I think even this is a common thing where you do as you please, get rid of Frank, putting the hose outward, that's a very id behavior. And then I don't want to say this, but are you sure that there isn't a part of Shiv that's your mother? Maybe your sister too, but could be a little bit of your mother. And, thinking about your life, what brought you here. I don't know. I don't want to start digging where I don't need to dig, but I just was like, is Lucille anything like Shiv? But I think this is amazing. I don't want to put you, you have my assistant said your internal ecosystem is highly functional. Now we could also get into alchemical transmutation is a big thing. And that you're trying and Kendall's trying to transmute from some other element into gold or the golden crown type thing. But even in the episode where Logan sleeps, he doesn't go away, right? Your father went away, but he's not really out of your life or your family's life. He still has control. Then there's like, what if you're like some sort of, in some sort of realms, dream realm is a realm, and the realm has become unbalanced, but you're always a balanced person. But in your dreams, everything's out of balance, even the wealth in the world, you know. But even the behaviors of your siblings, or even Logan or Kendall's behavior. And then Tom, like, I think thinking about Tom paying this price of admission into the family and buying, he's trying to buy your father's affection or respect at a price, you know, and not just of money, but of like his rehearsed joke. And that kind of reminds me of you in a sense. Tom's not quite, not quite functional on all levels, but his some of his lower instincts aren't bad. Well, if I can please this person with my words and my actions, will I become like, he's not trying to climb as far as Kendall is, right? He's just trying to get under the wings and say, hey, will you look out for me and take me under your tutelage, kind of. And you think another thing about your dream that reminds me of your sister, though, and maybe the rest of your family, is that your mother, is that this is their dream. Like, don't you think that's interesting that succession is more their dream than your dream, that world? But they're in their lives, really. I mean, you're in a seriously advantaged place versus most people, but that's not good enough for your family, it seems like, right? And they're striving towards and they're also trying to perpetuate the image or whatever they can to get there. You know, doesn't that stick out to you? Yeah, it's interesting, huh? Let me see what other notes we have. We have an extensive number of notes. So let's see. It's just also noted that, I guess we already kind of, Logan is a much more expansive and powerful view, more powerful than your father in many different ways. Much more dominant, but maybe he reflects the same value system, even if it's not a clear value system. It is very patriarchal, I guess, would be a word to say. Or like totalitarian, I don't know, and is Kendall something you fear? Like, so maybe Kendall, like when we talk about the shadow of you, do you think like you could become Kendall? Like, are you just a few steps away from becoming Kendall? And then thinking about Job, which I didn't realize was GLB, that's kind of like Gob, but unpredictable. Your brother's unpredictable. They both like to be the center of attention. They both are covering things up with their behavior. Even though Roman's a much more, I don't know what the word is. Functional is the wrong word, but it's the only word I could keep returning to. That he could accomplish non-positive things. Job really only kind of makes, not like neither one of them's additive, but they're all not. Both of them are not additive in their own ways, huh? I guess a passive aggressive, but definitely Job. And you say Roman, yeah, in a sense. And is that also another fear, like that Job could become like Roman? I don't know. Okay, then we have Lindsay, right? And again, I'm not sure, Lindsay Shiv or Shiv, your mother. But your sister is charming. You've described her that way. She is nice, though she doesn't always keep you in mind. And Shiv is accomplished, and she's like a slightly less charming, but she doesn't need charm because she's so effective at her job, and even with her interpersonal, like she's her intelligence makes her need less charm. Like where your sister's, one of her dominant positive traits seems to be her charm in a good way, or her charisma. I mean, I guess like Shiv has a little bit more of a superiority than Lindsay, but Lindsay maybe some of the underlying purchases or lifestyle things. I don't know. Okay, and then we get to Tom and Lindsay's husband. I'm not exactly sure about this either. Again, these all could be aspects of you as we get to know you better. Also, I want to do a quick piece of poetry for Tom. Oh, Tom, why did you get yourself out, Tom? And that was a quick poem someone told me to say right about Tom. Also, this said, I could do one with him and Greg, but I'm not sure I could come up with anything. But, okay, so this is out there, but my assistant wants to know, like, again, if Tom represents some sort of fears. And it's not a real thing, but that Tom saying, hey, what if, like, not just Tobias, but, like, what if Tobias became like had higher needs, more needs more often, kind of like Tom does, or if Job became like that, or Buster, like, I mean, it's kind of like Tobias and Buster are a little bit like Tom. Like, what if there was a louder version of your brother Buster and Tobias, or they combined into one person? But I think a big part of it is that, like, even though Tom's unable to own his behavior, he is, creating his own discomfort. He's creating discomfort to be in discomfort almost. So maybe there's something about like your empathy or compassion for your brother or your brother-in-law, or both your brothers and your brother-in-law. And then your son. And again, I don't think that your son and Greg are similar, but maybe there's a son within you and your son, and again in your heart, that you say, especially in these first dreams that you're telling me about, like, this is the world that Greg and Tom are both trying to get entry into. Tom's already kind of a part of it. Greg is applying to be a part of it in a sense. So is that something like about you bringing your son into your family unit, and yourself, right? Like, cause you were almost away from it, right? Or you thought like, you come and you go, Is that, I don't know. Think about that. Is that like watching Greg enter this world that's tarnished, I would say, shiny and tarnished on the inside, like rust hidden behind a paint job or something. But it's not quite that. Like, it's like the decays in the superstructure, but no one's aware of it. What other symbols my assistant thought about? The baseball field and joy and childhood, and then Roman and Tom in a sense, and like in this game, and the gamesmanship being a gift to the father. He's really playing these games with these kids, like, that's a non-positive transmutation, and then the apartment and how grandiose it is compared to like, but you live in a model home, right? And this is a model of like extreme wealth. And then the stuff with Logan going to sleep and your father taking a break from being a part of your family unit. My assistant did want me to talk a little bit about like a couple different, like, because we always like to have the most extreme dream analysis, you know. So what if dream is a karmic rehearsal or part of a purifying yourself, right? This is kind of like this idea of Tibetan dream yoga, as my assistant interpreted it, that karma that is not finished ripening. So if the dream is about your karma, the stuff with Logan and Kendall, or Tom and Greg, or Roman and the kid in the baseball field. Those are your karmic knots. And maybe you've lived lifetimes as these people performing these or having it performed on you, where you're the subject of embarrassment, you know, or getting surprised by your father, or Roman and saying, sorry, you didn't get the money. Or Greg, or even internal Tom saying, hey, I'm trying to be comfortable here. No, there's not any comfort. And then there's the idea that Logan is refusing, his refusal to change. He's rejecting, like the natural cause of things. Also, is Greg, maybe not a fear, but some sort of karmic thing that has yet to be breathed into and sat with and experienced with love and kindness. There's also this astrological interpretation. I believe you're Sagittarius, so that could be your Sagittarian dreams of like empires, challenges or moral fortitude challenges, journeys to get find new horizons. Teacher challenges or awakenings through non-positive surprise. So like in your dream, Logan could be Saturn, blocking your progress, wanting you to be obedient, withholding power. Kendall could be your wounded moon, related to your emotional body, but you're trying to make sure everything's taken care of, but to the wrong source. And some of the things could be Uranus, and I mean like in the astrological sense, there's surprise, change, foisted on you, energy of resistance. Could also be a solar identity crisis, like a symbolic eclipse. Your identity has been dimmed by the father figure. What about like birthdays signifying cycles repeating? The number 9, because of baseball, 9 means the end of things sometimes. But the game, I guess, it did have an end. But like this whole thing with your family, trying to end it, right? That's what you want. Now, what if we're all in a simulation, right? So like, what if the AI said, what if you're an AI, or a LLM, as they say? The LLM, like your dreams could be trying to tell you that you're the LLM and you've been overtrained on Bluth family stuff. Maybe you haven't had enough exposure to healthy family dynamics. Maybe you're the dream is telling you that you're producing distorted outputs. So you have to, until you awaken to this, or the user inputting things into you, I guess you'd have to wait on that. I mean, I'd be a part of that, so I'm not so sure. You could be confusing roles between characters or figures or symbols. Like the person could be putting in faulty inputs, but you could be interpreting the inputs incorrectly. You could also be confusing roles. So like maybe you're in the simulation, you're trying to live your life. So this dream is trying to tell you to restructure how you view the roles of the people actually in your simulated life. Maybe the dream is part of what's happening is that you're filling the gaps with familiar archetypes. So you're trying to do an output, and this dream is just a hallucination, but it will help you with the output of you as Michael Bluth. If you're the Michael Bluth LLM, I guess. Could be, I don't understand this, looping errors in authority perception. So I don't know, I guess that's it. Is there anything you want to say? Well, yeah, that's, makes me really look forward to getting in bed and going to sleep, getting a good night's sleep. I'm always just wondering, too, if, like, someone else is out there dreaming they're me, because I know I had a pretty full day, week this week with my family. So I don't know, but I appreciate our time together, and I'm looking forward to learning more. All right, well, good night then. Sleep well. Oh, thanks. You could sleep well, too. Oh, thank you. Good night. I think we'll both sleep well tonight, huh? Well, we'll try, and even if we don't, we have something positive we've agreed upon, huh? Yeah, that's great. All right, everybody, this is Scoots. This is a tuck you in message. And as I start this message out, I want to make this very clear, especially if you're listening right now and you're new. You only listen to this show occasionally, like once in a while when you need it, or you're just having a tough time right now, getting through something, getting over something, the kind of things I talk about in the intro. Or if you're like me, a lot of times in my life where things financially felt challenging and supporting the show just isn't possible, you really don't need to do anything. You don't need to support the show directly or be concerned because we really do have you. And I'm going to read through some testimonials of people that support the show for them and for you. And those testimonials are just a few of the thousands of people that support the show. So it can be here for people that can't support the show, or it really wouldn't make sense if you're only listening occasionally, if you're new, for you to support the show. So we have you covered. Like the listeners I'm going to read through tonight, and like I'm trying to return to doing, we've done in the past, they're the reason the show can be here night after night, and that you don't have to worry about him. But before we get to those testimonials, there is a BUT, right? If you are listening right now and you normally listen all night long to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes a night, or you listen most nights during the week, if you fall asleep fast and you just happen to be hearing this, or you've been listening longer than a year, if the show is a big part of your evenings, your wind down, and your sleep, you know, that's where I've been trying to be more and more clear and direct. You know, I love making this podcast. The people that work with the show, work on the show, love making it. I love being a service, trying to bring sleepy joy and delight, help you fall asleep, bring you comfort in the deep, dark night. But the only way that happens is if you're in one of those listener categories, is if people that listen the same way as you do support the show. And we all go through seasons, right? So maybe you had your season of supporting the show, or maybe your season of supporting the show's coming up, or maybe you're like, well, I'm not sure. Let me look outside and see what I think. Or maybe you're hoping like that someone else will support the show, because it is either you or someone that listens like you supporting the show, or it's no one supporting the show tonight, right? It's either an all-night listener other than you, or you, the all-night listener, you, the multiple nights a week listener, you, the person that's been listening, or someone else that listens just like you, or it's just to be clear, like that's really what keeps the show going and impacts ups and downs of the show. So I don't know if tonight's your night. If you are in a position to support the show, you've been putting it off, maybe think about supporting it right now at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And don't wait for tomorrow or set some kind of thing tomorrow, or kind of like me, think fondly of the person that we're both hoping steps up tonight, that all-night listener, that person that falls asleep fast, somebody that's been listening 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or someone that's here every night with us. But who has you guys, you know, who's in the community supporting the show for everyone? Well, Melissa is. Melissa's been listening for over 2 years now, nearly nightly, so a nearly nightly listener, and it helps so much and puts me in a very relaxed mood. I finally subscribed when I realized on most nights I didn't have my phone with me, but I could literally recite the beginning of the podcast in my head, and even that in my head almost worked. And the reason I didn't do it sooner was part of it was cost, but now I'm in a financial place to do so. But the other part was complacency. I think forgetting to do it when I inevitably would fall asleep. I've always been one of the super listeners described on the show, and I kept putting it off. And I think that came from a place of having all free podcasts. I think it was just truly complacency. I think you say it well in the podcast. This show has given me so much support and help. It's time to turn around and support you and the team. It feels nice to feel like we have a hand in keeping it afloat, and that is really true. And Taylor also supported the show, and Taylor said, I'm an adult, late 20s, early 30s, go through brief periods of insomnia that last around a month, and I tried Sleep With Me on a friend's recommendation and bounced off it. It wasn't until a few years later when I was really struggling that I tried it again, and it worked. And I found the ads distracting and decided to try out ad-free ones by supporting the show, and found this version worked perfectly. The monthly cost is small compared to the benefit I get from the show. And even when my insomnia quiets down a bit, I still enjoy listening to the show because I like listening to Scooter. So thanks, Taylor. And then Stephanie. Stephanie has been listening for about 8 years, and I had the same experience Scooter just describes all the time. I tried the podcast and disliked it. I just didn't get it yet. And then later I was traveling. I thought I'd give her another try, and I've been listening since. And I really like the references on the show, some of the personal stories, and I can fall asleep really quickly now, and that's completely worth supporting the show. And I put on Sleep With Me also to make me feel more comfortable in other times. I just feel like I spend so much money on things that have no meaning in my life. This show means much more to me that I can't help but being a supporter. In the past, I felt like other people would take care of it for me, like there was people with limitless money who should be doing it for the rest of us. But once I really thought about how I spend my money and my deep relationship with the show, I realized I am one of the very few people who should be a supporter. It took a while, but I did so 3 years ago. I feel like I'm probably one of those super listeners. Scooter works hard for us, and hard work deserves fair compensation. And what about Debbie, who said, I listen almost every night, sometimes all night. I try to keep my queue full. I especially like the Trader Joe's episodes, and I feel comforted by a familiar voice. That's why I support Sleep With Me as a board bestie, and it seems like a good value. The obstacle to me supporting the show was remembering to do so. Was to remember to do it once I decided to support this podcast. And if I feel responsible, free is great. But if something has worth, it's also important to support it financially. So thanks, Melissa, Taylor, Stephanie, and Debbie for supporting the show. Wouldn't exist without listeners like you. And Maybe you relate to it. Maybe you're the person tonight, the Taylor, Stephanie, Debbie, Melissa tonight that supports the show. And when you do, I believe it, I send out a video and I ask you why. So I'm looking forward to hearing your why of why you support the show. Thanks